Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Whitacre, trauma specialist and autistic individual. And this is the next video in a series I'm doing for the month of April on understanding autism. Because there's a lot of stigma for those of us who are autistic, and I'd like to just clear up what little bits I can. Today's topic is alexithymia. Alexithymia is characterized by an impaired ability to be aware of, explicitly identify, and describe one's feelings and emotions. According to Neurotypical, alexithymia is very common among autistic people. Research indicates 40 to 65% of us autistics have alexithymia, compared to maybe 5% in the general population. Alexithymia is a term introduced in 1972 by Peter Sefnios, and it's sometimes called emotional blindness. It's a condition that makes it challenging to identify and describe one's emotions, and it's essentially a difference in physiological processing of emotions. I'm Jennifer Whitacre, trauma specialist. Welcome to my channel. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any videos in this series or any of my videos in my just regular series on trauma and coercion and what to do about all of that. And please share if you know somebody who could find this helpful. Now let's get back to alexithymia. To better understand the word alexithymia, let's break it down. It's Greek in origin, and the A means lack, lexis means word, and thymos means emotion. And when put together, it means lack of words for emotions, or stated more concisely, no words for emotions. It doesn't mean no emotions or no feelings at all. It just means we might have more difficulty explaining what we're feeling. Now, there are two main types of alexithymia. There's cognitive alexithymia and affective alexithymia. And if you saw my video on the double empathy problem, you're going to notice a little bit of overlap, because one of the differences, and this kind of repeats in a few different areas, differences between autistic and allistic individuals are differences in cognitive functioning and processing and affective functioning and processing in the body. So just wanted to point that out. Now let's get back to the two main types. The first type is cognitive alexithymia, and this has to do with difficulties identifying, verbalizing, and analyzing emotions. This one's the most common among autistic individuals, and cognitive alexithymia is characterized by having difficulty identifying feelings, having difficulty distinguishing between feelings and bodily sensations, which can point to challenges with interoception and emotional arousal. And interoception is that ability to feel and sense internal signals from the body. Another characteristic of cognitive alexithymia is finding it difficult to describe feelings to other people if somebody wants to know what we're feeling or experiencing. There can be difficulty interpreting facial expressions, and this overlaps, with my video on prosopagnosia that's in this same series. So make sure you don't miss any videos, because there can be difficulty in identifying the faces or remembering faces of other people. And sometimes if it's severe enough, an individual might not even recognize their own face. The other main type of alexithymia is affective alexithymia, and this has to do with differences in imagination and emotional arousal. Emotional arousal refers to heightened emotional activity as a result of stimulus. And affective alexithymia is characterized by having difficulty fantasizing or imagining, and it's a thinking style that focuses on external events with a tendency to avoid inner experiences. Now, you might be wondering what causes alexithymia, and there are three main ways that we're aware of that alexithymia develops. The first way is called primary alexithymia, and it can be caused by genetics or early childhood trauma, having too many negative interactions with parents or primary caregivers in childhood. And These causes are called primary alexithymia because they develop early and they're further molded throughout childhood, throughout adolescence, and often into early adulthood. So in a real sense, it becomes a personality trait. And this is why primary alexithymia is often referred to as trait alexithymia. The second way is called secondary alexithymia. And secondary alexithymia describes characteristics that result from psychological distress, chronic disease, or events such as brain trauma or stroke, for example. This type of alexithymia is less ingrained, so it leads to temporary states rather than personality traits, and this is why secondary alexithymia is also called state alexithymia. And then the third way is called organic alexithymia. And organic alexithymia is a subcategory of secondary alexithymia, and it's caused by damage to brain structures involved in emotional processes through vascular damage or brain damage, like I mentioned, through a stroke or, some other form of brain trauma. According to an Embrace Autism article posted on the Neuroclastic website titled Alexithymia and Autism Guide, research shows that alexithymia is a defense or protection against highly emotional events. The higher the levels of alexithymia in Holocaust survivors and sexual assault victims supports this finding that it's protection against highly charged emotional events. Further research also shows that people who experience higher levels of alexithymia report less distress at seeing others in pain. Now, that might sound good for the alexithymic individual, although personal distress in alexithymics could still be high. But as a consequence, people with higher levels of alexithymia also behave less altruistically. In other words, there is research to support that there might actually be physiological processes behind a person's ability to be unselfish or to show selfless concern for the well-being of others. And this is one more reason not to judge what we don't fully understand, because we never know what's happening inside a person, inside their mind, and we don't know what's happening in their physiology that is affecting their behavior, their personality traits, and their personality states. And keep in mind that anyone can experience alexithymia. Autistic individuals do tend to experience primary and secondary alexithymia in much greater numbers than the general population, but in reality, this can affect anyone. So this is something to understand, not to judge. I hope you've learned something new today. And again, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell, because there are a whole series of videos that are going to come out throughout the month of April to help you understand autism and yourself, whether or not you have autism, just a little bit better. Because you'll notice a theme. You don't have to be autistic for these conditions to affect you. All right, everyone, I hope this helps. Happy self-discovery, and I'll see you next time.